Boxing is the trendy new workout these days. Gyms are popping up all around the Bay Area.
There are obvious risks with this sport, and if trainers ignore the safety rules, lives are on the line.
Now, Dan Noyes is here with an I-Team investigation. And Dan, last night you investigated private shows with underage boxers.
Right.
Tonight it's the adults.
The adults tonight. That's right, Dan and Carolyn. You know, it's a very simple. The rules for amateur boxing state before anyone puts on the gloves and throws a punch at a person or takes a punch, they have to be certified. It's an important process with several steps to ensure safety. But too often the rules are being ignored, and one San Francisco family knows how costly mistakes can be. Boxing is a very popular workout at Bay Area gyms, not just for would-be champions, but for soccer moms and young professionals. In the rush to cash in, some gyms are not following the safety rules set up by the sport's governing body, USA Boxing. Jerry Maxwell is a Northern California president. Before I throw a punch at someone and before I take a punch, is there a step that has to happen?
Oh, absolutely.
What is the step?
Mainly, you have to be licensed. You have to have a book.
A person gets this license only after an experienced trainer concludes the fighter is ready for battle. It shows the fighter is insured to compete and that a doctor has approved the person as being healthy enough to take a punch. Amateur fighters as young as 8 have to go through the process. And if they're older, in their 30s or 40s, the rules are even more stringent. They have to undergo an extra battery of tests.
It's kind of like a what they call a master's division, where you have to get a neurological and everything, but it's very few people that do that.
All that didn't happen with Keith Benjamin.
Almost every conversation with Keith started with some kind of a conversation that related to his family.
Benjamin was married with 2 young children, a successful venture capitalist, when he took up boxing at the age of 46. He tried to get his friend and business partner, Steve Larson, to join him.
He said, well, you should come to the gym with me. Why don't you get back into it? I said, no, I'm not interested. It's a brutal sport. It is very demanding physically.
Benjamin completed a 6-week boot camp at San Francisco's 3rd Street Gym. The graduation ceremony, a 3-round bout in September 2005. From the beginning, it was clear Benjamin was overmatched. He took several solid shots to the head. After he got knocked down, the coach let the fight continue. More punishment until they finally stopped the fight. His trainer took Benjamin to the hospital where doctors confirmed he had suffered a concussion. After, Benjamin wrote in his blog, "I would have liked to win the fight. I'd need more experience in the ring to get fully past the fear and build confidence in my fighting skills. However, I don't think it's worth the risk of more concussions at my age." Flash forward almost 3 years to this past July. Keith Benjamin is back at 3rd Street Gym, working out when he goes down and never gets back up.
This is so wrong. This is just so wrong. He is probably one of the most alive people that I'd ever met. And for someone at what I would call at the very prime of his life, with a family that's right in the middle of being developed, it was just wrong.
It's been difficult for friends and family to find out exactly what happened. Was there an accident? Was Keith fighting? Did he slip and fall? The chief official for local boxing spoke with the gym owner.
He said he passed when he was in training, is what he told me.
So what was he sparring? Did he get hit? What happened?
I don't know.
No one's done a serious investigation, not USA Boxing or the State Athletic Commission. Staff there only asked some informal questions. What was the cause of death?
I believe, from what I known or heard about it, it was something brain aneurysm.
The owner of 3rd Street Gym, Simon Redmond, refused to be interviewed. He's now in Ireland on vacation. But he confirmed by phone that Benjamin was sparring when he went down. And Benjamin's autopsy report obtained by the I-Team shows Keith Benjamin suffered blunt force trauma. He died from a punch to the head.
It's the only sport that we currently practice where the primary goal of this sport is to cause a head injury.
Dr. Jeffrey Manley heads the Neurotrauma Center at SF General, and he operated on Keith Benjamin that day. He can't talk about the case because of privacy laws, but he says that 90% of people who box sustain some type of concussion.
When I punch and your head goes back, your brain basically moves back and forth as it's floating in this spinal fluid, and it essentially smacks the inside of the skull surface.
The same scene is playing out around the Bay Area. People graduate from these boxing boot camps and get thrown into the ring without the proper safety precautions. No doctor standing by, no ambulance, no skilled referee to stop the action and prevent injuries.
What sort of enforcement do you do? I mean, is someone really watching?
Basic is kind of on the honor system. There's not enough resource or time for anybody in the association to go around and police one another, not in an area as big as we have.
Ramona Gatto is a world champion kickboxer who now coaches youth boxing on the peninsula. She's been pushing for more regulation in the Bay Area boxing scene.
Two guys get in the ring and hit each other, beat each other up. What happened to Keith Benjamin can happen to anybody. And that is that you take too much punishment to the head, you can die.
Now, some might argue that Keith Benjamin should have known better than to take up boxing at his age, but the rules are meant to protect people. And these students walk into a gym trusting that the coaches know what they're doing and are looking out for their safety. The attorney for 3rd Street Gym sent a statement that says, in part, the owners take the safety and well-being of their clientele very seriously and make every possible effort at all times to comply with the rules.